We're going to do a double exposure effect and figure out how to set this all up so that you can get some easy compositing tips and tricks. And we're going to start with this beach photo, this sunset beach photo, and we want to end it up like this. So we need other pieces to this puzzle than just the background picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, I'm going to have, this is beach sunset JPEG. I'm going to have all these files for you so you can download and use them and work with me. We're going to open up in that folder also the profile picture, profile headshot.jpg. We're going to open that up. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this image into the sunset photo. So I'm going to take that in there. We're going to set this in here just about right. And what I want to do is I want to silhouette him so that we don't have any of the background, everything else shows through. So that's very easy. With Photoshop, we just grab our our quick selection tool, and if you're using the newest version of Photoshop, which everybody should be, we can come up here, select subject, and it's going to automatically grab the head and do a pretty good job at silhouetting it. We're going to just check around here, make sure everything looks good. I like the hair, everything's good. Select and mask. And in the select and mask, I'm going to bring up the radius to 2. And I'm going to make sure that I go to check smart radius. And we're going to make this brush a little smaller, and that's easy to do with the left or right brackets right next to the P key, just to the right of the P key. And I'm going to make that brush a little smaller, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to paint along the hair just a little bit because I want that hair to just blend right in the background, nice like that. And in the front, going to do a little bit there, looking good. And I am going to bring this on and hit decontaminate colors because I'm going to want that on its very own layer with a layer mask, new layer with layer mask. We're going to hit OK, and there. Now we've got our image silhouetted, and you can see here, background, and we're going to call this head. Remember, if you label your layers as you build them, life will be much better in the long run. I'm going to leave this one alone, even though it's still there. We don't need it. I'm going to just leave it there, and we're going to come in here, and we need to do some other stuff. So let's see what else I've got going on here. I did a little bit of a, we're going to close that one there. I'm going to come over here, and I'm coming to the background, and I'm going to unlock that background so that it can be transparent. I am going to put a layer mask on there, and I'm going to come in here and grab my linear gradient tool, and I'm going to make a gradient in the background down through here so that that silhouettes out so it's a little nicer. And just so that it's easier to see, you don't have the checkerboard going on, I am going to create a new layer underneath. What I'm going to do, we could just hit the create new layer icon and it'll put a new layer above it, and then we could fill with white and drag it below. But instead of doing that, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to hold down the command key, and I'm going to hit the new layer icon. And if I hit the command key when I make the new layer icon, it's going to put a brand new layer under the layer that I'm on, which happened to be the background layer. Remember, whenever we make a brand new layer in Photoshop, it puts it above the layer that we are currently on. I don't care what you're doing, if you got 10 layers or 2 layers, whatever layer you're on, it's going to put it directly above that layer. So if we hold the command or control key as we hit the new layer, it puts it below it. Just saves us a little step. I'm going to hit D on the keyboard to set my colors back to default colors, black and white. And I am on the Mac, I'm going to do a command delete, or on the PC, we're going to do an option delete, or I'm going to go to edit, fill, and pick white. Okay, so now we've got this set up pretty good. But to make this even better, we want to make everything black and white because we're going for a look here. We're like a movie poster. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to pick a black and white adjustment layer to put it above it, and boom, turns everything to a nice black and white. We get a nice good effect here. I'm actually going to go to my properties and adjust the black and white a little bit. So there's a lot of yellows, so if we drop that, we can make that a little, because there's the gold sunset and the yellow beach. And the more you can, if you want to get the contrast beefier and whatever you want to do. There's not a lot of greens. There's a lot of blues. So if we can adjust the blues a little bit, and I think there's a little bit of red. No, not much red there. So that's about good. We're going to go with that. Now, if we take a look at the other picture, we're going to also adjust the levels a little bit. So we're going to bring in a levels adjustment layer because I need a little more contrast in the whole setup. And take a look right there. Remember all the stuff we did with levels and black, midtones, shadows, midtones, and highlights. We're going to take that shadows, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Not all the way to the edge, because I'm always teaching you guys to take a look at that. If we can do that, but if I bring this out, and wow, much more contrast, a little grittier, gives you a little more detail. And when we're doing this double exposure setup, you want that contrast, you want that type of stuff. So we're going to actually make that a little brighter, and that looks good right there. So there's our contrast, there's our black and white. We've got that all set. So in this photo, you can see that we've got a surfer that's up in the top here in his hair, the double exposure of his hair. It's pretty cool. So we're going to find the surfer. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go to the files. I'm going to find the surfer photo. I'm going to open that surfer photo and I'm going to drag that into my setup. And we're going to just move it right in there like this. We're going to close that. Now, notice the surfer it looks very solid, so we need to do something so it blends in, does a double exposure with his hair, because his hair is so gray and white. We're going to come in here and we're going to change this to screen, which is going to put him right in there, and it's going to look pretty good. But to blend it in even more, we're going to add a layer mask, and we are going to do a little bit of a brush. So, just dropped something. I'm going to grab my paintbrush and make that brush bigger. Nice soft brush on the layer mask, and notice it's in the actual layer mask. If I'm here with the little handles around the live view, that means we're in live view, and if we paint right now, we'll be painting black. So we got to make sure we're on the layer mask. So I'm going to paint right along in here, and it's showing me the opacity is at 31%. So I'm going to put that up to 100% because I'm going to just, and it's got me on a hard brush. So I'm going to go to a soft rounded brush. There we go, much better. Make sure it's a soft rounded brush, and we're going to smooth this all out, and we want his hair to be there. I'm going to move that over a little bit, and I'm actually going to spin it just a smidge like that. It's looking good. We're getting there. Move that in. Grab that paintbrush again. Do that a little. Too much. So not a problem if I do too much. I'm going to go back to my white and put that in like that. So we're getting there. We're going to go back over here. We're going to take a look. Now we've got some water. So the water is on his shoulder and on part of the minivan. So we're going to take this. We're going to go and I'm going to go File, Open, and we're going to pick Big Wave. There it is. Look at that. This big wave is nice because it's very very disturbance looking here, and we're going to pull that up here, and it's got nice contrast, real nice contrast. So notice here on his shirt, it's very light colored, and the van even has a little dark. So we're going to take that dark area and put it right there. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to go, let's try, I think it's pin light. Pin light. Boom, put the pin light on there. We're going to add a light, I'm going to call Big Wave. Big Wave. Again, if you name your layers right as you put them in, life is much better. So then we're going to click on the layer mask. We're going to grab a brush, and we are going to make sure the brush is black, and we're going to paint with that black brush in there. And we're going to paint that away, and look at how that's looking great there. We're doing all right. We're going to put some text on here, so we're going to come up here, and I'm going to pick Impact, because I like that. And we're going to come up here and we're going to do all caps, California. Right there. I'm gonna do a free transform, Control T, Command T. Size that up so it's nice and big so we can see it pretty good here. And then what I want to do is I want to put in another text layer that just says Dreamin'. California Dreamin'. Okay, so we're gonna size that down a little bit. Whoop. Move that in like that. And hit enter to take that. So we've got the big wave in here. We got the surfer in the head. We need to put a wave in here, and we're going to clip it to the font. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a file open, and we are going to find the wave. There it is, a nice big curl wave with the blue and the white. I love that picture. I'm going to open that up, and we're going to drag that in. I'm going to close that other big wave there. So we just have this one. I'm going to drag it up in here, drop it right down. And I want to place it right above that California. Notice Dreaming we made second, so I'm going to take Dreaming and move it below California. So California's here. Our blue wave is going to be right there. And I want to clip that wave to the opaque pixels, or the pixels that are solid, that in the word California. So I'm going to hold down the Alt or Option key right between the two. See, if I move my mouse right between the two, as I move it between the two, you're going to see that little down arrow with the box. And if I clip it, boom, click, it clips it right to it. It's awesome. Now we've got everything in here, but to finish it off, to make it look really nice, we're going to come up to the top and we're going to do a color lookup. So we're going to do another color adjustment layer, and we're going to do color lookup. And in here, I want to pick, you can pick all kinds of different colors. You can pick crisp, warm color. We can pick moonlight. We can pick all kinds of different colors, and we can adjust the opacity of these. So we can do fun things. You can, however you want to finish it, to make the poster and the movie type situation look the way you want to do it. We're going to come in and adjust that just a little bit more. And we've got everything going on here. Double exposure in the shoulder, double exposure in the hair, and we clipped the wave inside the word California to create a pretty neat looking poster. I hope this did a lot of fun things for you, and you got some great tips for double exposures. They're a lot of fun. You can do so many different things. Thanks.